Fist flying, no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQP, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Sunday. After a great UFC Fight Night, man. I can't believe it was that good, honestly. Some people might not agree, but for me, that was a damn good event. The Black Beast showed out. There were some great fights all the way throughout the card. Even some of the decision fights were really good. Like, come on, man. I had a good time watching that fight. So UFC Nashville came through in a big way. We had two boxing matches that happened over this weekend that were pretty good as well. I mean, I wouldn't go too crazy with it, but I feel like it was pretty good from what I've seen from the highlights and everything. But man, that UFC Nashville, that was a good one. I was fucking pumped. I was watching. I saw almost every fight all the way through, and the ones I didn't, I kind of went back. But yeah, I was hyped, man. As soon as I saw that they started off with some finishes, I was surprised. I was like, that's what I get for talking shit about the women. They came out and they wrecked shit right away. And that was a damn good way to start that event. So I was happy about that. And then, you know, we wind up with a bunch of, I think it was like the first three fights in a row, all finishes. So that's a hell of a way to start a UFC Fight Night. And then for it to continue throughout the entire event, that's how you know it was a good one. Because a lot of times, you know, you start with one or two stoppages, whether it be submissions or knockouts or something, and then next thing you know, the entire card just drops. And then you got a main card that is absolutely shitty. So that didn't happen this time. It kept going, and all the way to the end, main event, 35 seconds, fucking fast and furious. And it's kind of what I was saying. When it comes down to it, that's kind of what we know from both of the guys at the top of the card. So it was good. I had a good time watching it. I mean, I wasn't stationary. I was a little mobile while I was watching all of it, but I was having a good time watching it. It was good, some damn good fights. So that's always a good way to come in to be able to turn around and talk about it the next day, which is why I'm glad I'm doing the show on Sundays as well, because the recaps come right away. Everything's fresh in my head, and yeah, it's nice to be able to turn around and talk about it pretty quick. So I'm happy about that. What I'm not happy about, and I wonder if this has happened to any of you, I got fucking robbed. Not like face-to-face robbed, but I got jacked for some earbuds. Oh man, I'm only laughing about it because I was fucking pissed earlier. I was so mad. Scared my dog. I was so mad. But so here's the thing. Okay, I've had the earbuds I use for work. I make phone calls. I'm on the phone a lot throughout the day, helping people, troubleshooting problems, contacting people to get into places that I got to get into for work. I just might, and then I have a podcast of some sort playing in my ear all day. So I use this, you know, I have a Samsung phone, so I use the Samsung earbuds. I've had them for a couple years. They get a lot of usage. So they finally kind of wore out on me, and I kept getting complaints about my phone calls sounding like I'm underwater or something like that. I'm like, great, they're wearing out on me. You know, it's about time to replace them. So I made the decision to just go ahead and do that yesterday. And I was all excited because I'm just like, you know, I wanted to do it for a while now. I just didn't pull the trigger. I didn't really have a choice this time because the one earbud I use all the time is pretty much trash at the moment. So yeah, I wind up ordering them from Amazon because they still had a good deal on them considering Prime Day stuff is over. Still a good deal on it. Best deal I could find straight up from the Samsung, you know, the store from Amazon. So it's the Samsung store on Amazon. It's not just some random seller or anything like that, some random offshoot of a store. It's actually the Samsung store on Amazon. Anyway, here's the thing. Everything was fine. Supposed to be delivered Monday. get the notification today. It's going to get delivered today. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. I'm happy about that. I'll have some time to set them up, mess with them, play around with them, whatever. They come in. And I'm excited about that because they came in with enough time for me to set them up and stuff before I get started here. And as I open the package, I'm opening the box, Amazon box. I take out the stupid filler stuff. And then I see the Samsung box and I'm like, cool, there we go. Turn the box around so you can pull the little tabs to pull the seal off. And those are not there. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird. And that doesn't give me a good feeling. Well, I proceed to, slide the box open. I'm just shaking the box so that the bottom piece comes out. I'm like, well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, no earbuds inside. Someone just straight up jacked the earbuds out of the box. So someone at Amazon, in their sorting facility, in their packing facility, somewhere out there, came up on some brand new earbuds. Granted, I'm talking the Samsung fucking Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, like the best ones out right now for Samsung. And yeah, that sucks. So I was pretty pissed because I was happy and I was waiting. You go to unbox something new, especially for me, it's devices, electronics, and stuff like that. I'm always excited about that. So yeah, that sucked. That was a bad feeling. That's never happened to me before. And I was pissed. So I got on Amazon right away. And I'm a little worried because I did the whole figuring out what to do as I panic, as I'm pissed off, panicked, fucking trying to figure it out. I'm like, God damn it. And it's just so easy to just be like, hey, what happened? Oh, something's missing out of my package. Oh, well, it was delivered. Here you go. You want to double check? And I'm like, no, it's legit not in the package. I got an empty package basically. So then it's like, okay, what can we do to fix this? Do you want a refund? Do you want a replacement, or do you want something else? I'm like, a fucking replacement. That's what I wanted. And then it just says, cool, your replacement's been ordered or whatever. And I'm like, huh? The hell? It's that easy? Maybe that's why these motherfuckers at the facility are just jacking shit, because they know how easy it is just to get a replacement. Now, granted, I haven't heard back yet. I haven't seen anything come through yet saying that it's out, it's been shipped or anything like that. So I'm still a little worried. So if you've had any experiences with this stuff, let me know, because this has never happened to me before, and this is some bullshit. So I have all the proof. I have all the packaging. I have everything. I have the chat where it asked me all the questions, and this is what I said I wanted to do. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that I get a notification later or tomorrow saying your package has been shipped and it should arrive today or tomorrow, and that's fine. I'll wait a couple days. No big deal. But I'd prefer they come in right away, because I'm a little bit worried about this and I don't want to lose out on my money. I already got jacked once. I don't want to get jacked twice. Oh man, talk about, come on. All I wanted was to have my new earbuds so that I don't have to deal with old earbuds that kind of suck tomorrow while I'm at work. But instead, that happens, and I'm just like, fuck. That's all I can think of. I just want to play it over and over again. Fuck. Fuck. Yeah. Anyway, that's my personal problem today. I was having a good day, productive, getting through shit, working around shit, prepping for the podcast, and I got that done early. I was happy about that. I'm coming out this high off of watching some good fights last night. Everything's been fine, and then I'm like, my earbuds will be in today. That's even better. What a great day. Nope. So boo for that shit. And hopefully I just get them soon and we're all good. So enough of my crying, enough of my complaining, but I did want to just my wife says it's exactly what she sounded like too, but much louder. I said fuck about 14 times, maybe even more. But and I'm about to say it real loud right now because I'm kind of pissed that the chat is still, I don't understand this fucking layout. Like, I don't get it. And this is just going to piss me off more right now. I'm glad the chat's working. It's on the screen, right? But I'm a little pissed that the letters are fucking like gray still. I've done everything that I remember doing before to change the goddamn color. And for some reason, oh, did I not hit save? Maybe I didn't hit save. That might be why. I might be just a fucking idiot. Because it just changed in the preview screen over here, and that's different than the other day when I was trying it. So, Michelle, if you're still in there, just laugh or say something back. Maybe we can see it pop up on the chat and see if it's right. But until then, I'm gonna talk about my sponsor real quick. Noctane smelling salts, of course. Oh man. Thanks. I do feel like a dummy, especially when it didn't pop up. It hasn't come up on the preview screen yet, though. There it is, and there it is. Hey, you know what? I'll take it. I am a dummy, and I definitely got it working again, so that's good. Now I can go the rest of the show. If anybody wants to jump in the chat, there you go. I appreciate that. I love you too. Thank you for the help. And yes, now the chat's working like it should be. So hopefully I know the exact 2 things I did. I hope it works next time and I don't have to fix it again. Until then, Noctane smelling salts. I need this right now so I can get my mind right. It wakes you up, keeps you alert. You get that quick short rush of adrenaline. That's why powerlifters use it. All kinds of people use it for all kinds of reasons. I use it to just wake the fuck up and be ready. And I'm already mad about stupid shit. Oh shit, Patrick. What up, Patrick? Oh, Patrick's reliving the what the fuck was his name? Ricky LaFleur? Oh man. Here we go. Oh, that's fucking funny. Patrick is coming next week for the watch party, but we do have a little bit of bad news on that front. Well, hopefully not too much because Josh hasn't answered me. So I hope that's not bad news. But Clark is a dummy, speaking of dummies, and he will not be here because he is, we'll just say absent-minded in a lot of ways. And he wrote down the wrong date, didn't realize it was this weekend, and there's something else going on that I can fully understand why, but he cannot make it. So it's going to be just me, you, and Josh, Patrick. So I hope Josh doesn't pull some shit because you know how he is. But and I can say that now because I would say it to his face, and he doesn't watch anyway. So he only watches the ones he's on. But let's hit up this Noctane real quick. I'm excited to have Patrick in for the watch party next week because we have UFC 318 coming up, and I am excited for that as well. So I feel like it's going to be some good fights. The BMF title's on the line. It's the Dustin the Diamond Poirier's last fight. We're going to see him go out either on a high note or possibly a low note, but still it's going to be, you know, a celebration of the Diamond leaving the UFC, all the great fights. But there's some other good fights on that card too. So let's hit up this Noctane real quick. Hopefully I get my new bottle before next week. That would be awesome. This one I got to smell a couple times because it's wearing out a little bit, but it still made my eyes water. Just not a big reaction because it's not as crazy strong, but it is the most potent bottle, and it's usually a hell of a lot stronger than that, and it's just because it's wearing out on me. But I know I'm going to get my new bottle soon, so I'll be happy for that when that gets in. And yeah, go check out their website. Hit that QR code. There's a link in the description. I talk about it every week. Noctane smelling salts. I appreciate you for the sponsorship. And yeah, go get yourself a bottle. It's worth it. I miss it when it starts to wear out and I don't have a new one right away. So that's how much I like it. I don't overuse it. I just use it when I need it, and it's a damn good thing when I need it. So that's yeah, that's it for me and all of my gripes and complaints. So let's get to this UFC Nashville card. We're gonna hit that up right away, and that's because it was such a good event. Like I said, I'm still looking at Patrick's chat in there. Yeah, we had Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast, versus Telson Teixeira. 8-0 overall, 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a bunch of finishes. And and everybody was kind of doubting Derrick Lewis. He was the underdog in betting. He was, oh, Josh said, okay, cool, just right now. Maybe he was watching. But no canceling for Josh as of now. So we're good on that point. But anyway, Tellis and Teixeira, you know, everyone was doubting Derrick Lewis, thinking that the younger kid coming in, what is he, 25 years old, Derrick Lewis being 40, you know, shit's different in the heavyweight division though, right? I mean, that's kind of that's what we know. The heavyweight division is different, even light heavyweight a little to a certain extent, but the heavyweight division for sure is different. And you know, these big guys with big power, they don't lose that power so quickly. And Derrick Lewis is a little bit on the wishy-washy side, but hey, like the thumbnail said, he's the knockout king right now in the UFC. He has the most knockouts in the UFC as of right now. And he, I mean, every time we've seen him do it, it's been a hell of a celebration after the fact. And he just continues to make it happen. So if he has a good fight camp, if he comes in with a good state of mind and he has a good weight cut, we can expect the best out of Derrick Lewis. And I feel like he can definitely compete with the highest levels in the heavyweight division when he is good completely. The problem is that he isn't consistent with being that good with everything. You know, he has issues with weight cuts, or he has an issue in his fight camp, or maybe something personal is going on with him. He's not the type to just let it all kind of go and not say anything. He'll say shit and he'll talk about things. So if he's having issues, you're gonna know. And this time he seemed like he was locked in. He said he was feeling the best he's ever have, you know, and we hear these guys say that all the time, but this time it was legit because we saw how good he was. He had a little acting role in the middle of the fight, according to what he said. I don't know, it somewhat looked like he actually, you know, got injured a little bit with that punch, but because he was okay. What could Josh have going on? Square up a straight guy in town. This is why the watch party is going to be fun. So if you guys are planning on watching it or not sure if you should, believe me, you're going to want to, because we're going to just talk mad shit the whole time. On top of watching the fights and talking about the fights too. And Patrick definitely has a lot of good insight on the fights. He's been on the show before, just me and him, you know, one-on-one, kind of going over fights and shit like that. So he definitely has something to offer, and he has good knowledge about MMA. So there's that, but there's also the fact that him and Josh are brothers, and they like to give each other the maximum amount of shit, and it's always fun. And I get to sit back and laugh and add in here and there because that's fun too. So and you know, Clark being here would have just made it that much more on that side, but unfortunately he won't be here. But as of now, we have Josh and Patrick locked in, ready to go for the watch party next Saturday during UFC 318. Be on the lookout for that. I'll talk more about it on Thursday. It's going to be fun. So for Nashville though, when Lewis is locked in, it's a damn good thing, and that's what we saw, especially because he goes all out for the celebrations. I've been seeing nothing but TikToks and other things talking about what's gonna happen next when Derrick Lewis wins a big fight. Are we gonna is he just gonna drop his pants completely and we're gonna see absolutely everything? Because he went to the point this time where, I mean, he full on flashed the crowd for longer than a quick second, and his whole ass was out. So I know a lot of guys wish that some women would do that after they win, but that might be getting weird. But it's a little weird that Derrick Lewis is doing it as well, but still entertaining and funny, and you can always count on Derrick Lewis to have some kind of entertainment when it comes to getting on that mic and celebrating his wins. Not to mention his actual celebration right after he wins is entertaining. The throat slash, the getting on the ground and looking up, tongue out, craziness. I mean, he looks crazy, and it's a fun celebration. So that's definitely always fun to watch, and when Lewis wins, it's just such a damn good thing, and that's why he's one of the most popular fighters in the UFC, regardless of what happens in his fights, because even if he's just in an interview, he's entertaining. So we're gonna get to that fight here. I mean, I know I've already went off for like 5 minutes talking about the whole thing, but definitely gonna get into it a tad bit more in just a few minutes. But we got to go over the rest of the card too, because there was plenty to talk about throughout the rest of that card. Got to get my drink in. So let's start at the bottom here and start off with a finish right away from the women, which, like I said, I was doubting that, and it actually happened. So we'll get to Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. And, you know, we're getting into the third round. And obviously I'm thinking right away, okay, we're definitely getting a decision out of this one. But the thing was it was a pretty fun fight all the way from the beginning. And these girls went at it. They definitely put their all into it and gave us a good fight. But 2 minutes and 36 seconds into the third round, we got Fatima Klein getting a head kick KO. And I mean, I was surprised as hell, because I mean, you don't see that often in the women's divisions, and that's why, you know, that's why I doubted all the time that we're gonna get crazy good fights, especially from relatively unknown women that are kind of working their way up in the divisions and stuff. Klein, you know, I haven't seen much from these girls. I might have seen them fight a time or two before, but I mean, Klein is only 2-1 in the UFC. She fought Victoria Dudikova and Jasmine Jasudavicius, so I'm 100% sure I watched the Jasudavicius fight. So I just probably didn't realize who it was, because Jasmine did what she always does and dominated and won that fight. But Klein got a win over Dudikova in January of this year at a fight night. So there's so many fights, though, you know, it's just like some of these, until they start doing a little bit bigger things, it's hard to catch up or keep up. Melissa Martinez is 1-2 in the UFC, and she's had, let's see, Ellis Ardeline, she got a win against. Okay, I do remember that fight, actually. So yeah, and then she got a loss against Elise Reed, and now a loss to Fatima Klein. It's the first time she got finished in the UFC. And they, Klein actually got a performance of the night bonus for her KO win on that one. But yeah, that's how we started the night off with the prelims. So right away, I'm thinking, hell yeah, this will hopefully continue and make it a great night of fights. And it did. So we'll move on to the second fight of the night. That was Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. And, you know, there was just some talk about just kind of being an okay fight here, possibilities of this, that, and the other thing, but you know, nothing crazy. Mike Davis, though, was coming off a loss to Faraz Zahim back in February of this year, and that was just a unanimous decision loss. Before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak. So you know, he had some pretty decent opponents there. I mean, his last loss was to Gilbert Burns, and then he beat Thomas Gifford, Mason Jones, Vyacheslav Borshev. So Slava Claus. He beat him, Natan Levy, and then he lost to Faraz Zahim. But yeah, he came out hungry, ready to go in this one. This was a fun fight while it lasted. They went to 4 minutes of the second round, and man, he just came out with this crazy knee. Actually, let me get to that, because these are some of the strikes ahead of time. But then he had that crazy throw, as you can see in that top left picture, put together some good combinations, and then landed that crazy knee up the middle. And that's what put Ramirez away in the second round. So that's what made that one a fun fight, because I mean, these guys went at it in the beginning, and it was just a good fight, interesting fight going all the way through. Mike Davis looked good. He lands that knee, finishes it up in the second round. So hell of a second fight, and I'm already like, whoa, head kick knockout, a knee for a TKO. And then we move into what I was already saying was going to be a fun fight, which was Walter Walker versus Kennedy and Nzechukwu, and that's just because both these guys don't get out of the first round very often. And Nzechukwu was coming off of a 2-fight win streak with 2 finishes in the first round. One of those having a performance of the night bonus, which is his last fight against Brzezinski. He beat Chris Barnett. Both of them were, finishes on the ground, and then with like ground and pound and stuff. But before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak. So he was on a good streak here, redeeming himself from that 2-fight losing streak, going on a 2-fight win streak, wanting to get another one here against Walter Walker. But Walter Walker came in like a madman, and yeah, he did his thing, because this makes his 3rd win in a row and his 3rd first round finish win in a row, all by submission, all by heel hooks, which is insane. So I mean, he put some hands on Kennedy to get the fight down to the ground. But I mean, this fight didn't last long at all. It was 54 seconds into the first round, and Walter Walker hurts Kennedy just enough to then, go in for the double leg to take him down, and he gets him down. And Kennedy's trying to gather himself a bit, and next thing you know, Walter's just getting himself in the best position possible, turning it around on him and getting that heel hook. And as you can see, Nzechukwu's yelling out in pain from that heel hook, and the fight ends right there. 54 seconds into the first round. Talk about excitement. I mean, that's a quick fight, and it was fun from the start to the finish, less than a minute. And Walter Walker is a goddamn character as well. You're definitely going to get some good stuff out of him. I've seen some videos and some interviews. He's a funny guy, just like his brother. Johnny Walker is also a character. You're always going to get some kind of craziness out of him as well. These guys are just like, they're just so fucking animated and crazy. And he had some like weird hat on and fucking, I don't even know, man. And it's hard to understand him half the time, but he's hilarious, and he's a fun guy to watch fight. I mean, he lost to Lucas Brzezinski in 2024, but since then he's been on this 3-fight win streak, all by submission, all in the first round. Before that loss, he was on quite the win streak before. Actually, he was undefeated before that loss to Lucas Brzezinski, and that was his first fight in the UFC. So he's now 3-1 in the UFC, with 3 first round finishes, all by heel hooks. So motherfuckers need to watch him on the ground and not let him get them to the ground, because if you do, you better be dancing, because those ankles and heels and feet are going to be in fucking danger with Walter Walker. So he earns himself a performance of the night bonus there with that finish. And that led us into our first decision of the night, the second women's fight of the night. And that was Eduarda Moura versus Lauren Murphy. And as I said, Lauren Murphy was going into this fight already knowing that, man, Tapology is having trouble today. I had multiple tabs open. It was driving my CPU usage up like crazy. So I kind of cleared out a couple of them, because it even told me on the tab that it was using an excessive amount of memory. So, and now it's telling me that it's unresponsive. So that's fun. Hopefully that's not causing an issue anywhere else. But yeah, so Lauren Murphy was already going into this fight knowing it was her last fight in the UFC. She was going to retire. So I was looking to see if hopefully she actually made it and got the win, but she did not. And while she had a hard fought, it was a hard fight for her. She showed some promise there in the middle of it, where, god damn it, okay, I'm gonna have to get out of this page and reload it, because it is just not liking things right now. There we go. That's better. I just keep seeing stuff flashing in the corner of my eye. Anyway, it went all 3 rounds. It was a unanimous decision win for Moura, but Lauren Murphy did have her in a guillotine for a minute, and it actually looked like she was going to be able to finish her, but unfortunately Moura was able to make her way out of that position and get out of the choke and Lauren Murphy couldn't hold on to it. So that's kind of where it turned around, and it didn't look like she was really going to have any chance of winning that fight. I mean, it wasn't like a runaway victory for Mora, but it was definitely a victory. There was no doubt about who won that fight at the end. And Lauren Murphy, of course, winds up putting her gloves down in the middle of the cage and retires on that note, which, you know, it sucks to see them go out on a loss, especially when they come in knowing it's their last fight. But Lauren Murphy was in good spirits and was high on herself, saying she doesn't give a shit about anything. She where she came from and the obstacles that she overcame in her life, and for her to be there fighting at the highest level and actually, you know, fought for a title at one point, and just fighting the upper echelon of competition and, you know, in the world really for women. And she did pretty well. So she did lay the gloves down. She's 41 years old. It's about that time. And I just, you know, thanks to Lauren Murphy for all the good fights and memories and stuff. You know, her story is crazy, her background, and just to see her go out and be content and okay with what happened and how it went down. I'm just glad she didn't get knocked out or put to sleep or nothing. You know, it sucks to see her lose in something that, you know, could have been turned around or was so close to being finished for her. Actually, she was really close to finishing it with that guillotine. She just could not wrap it up. As you can see, she only had one hook in. She was never able to get that other one in there, and Mora was able to get out. But still, I'm glad that she went out on a decent note, even though she didn't get the win. And I'm happy for her. So I hope she has good luck in whatever she chooses to do after this. And thanks for all the good fights, Lauren. And I hope everything goes well for you in the future. So that brings us back to the finishing ways. As we get back to the men, we got Jake Matthews versus Chidi Njokuani. And I heard a lot of talk about Njokuani being kind of the guy here. Like, it seemed like everyone was thinking Njokuani was going to be the one to win. But he did not get the win. He actually lost in the first round. It was a pretty quick fight as well. 1 minute and 9 seconds into the first round, Jake Matthews is able to stop Chidi Njokuani from getting his 4th win in a row. He was on a 3-fight win streak with wins over Rice McKee, Jared Gordon, and Elizu Selesky. 2 of those being decision wins, one being a TKO, which was his last fight against Selesky. And now he met Jake Matthews and was not able to get it done. Matthews, you know, makes quick work of Chidi and gets the rear naked choke for the first round finish, and that makes his 3rd win in a row. So him and Chidi fought to keep their winning streaks alive, and Jake Matthews gets the win. So he's got 2 unanimous decision wins before this, one against Phil Rowe, one against Francisco Prado, and now the 3rd win in a row against Chidi Njokuani. That's a good win for him, especially with Chidi being on that win streak. And it was an impressive win as well, getting that rear naked choke. As you could see, he was on his back, winds up almost getting shaken off, but that's where he actually locked it in and was able to get Chidi to tap. Njokuani was not happy with it, obviously, but you know, it is what it is. First round finish for Jake Matthews. Hell of a fight there for while it lasted, and fun to watch. So moving on to the last fight on the prelims was what Chris Curtis explained as the 2 unks fighting at the barbecue. He said he kept seeing people say that. I talked about it in the last show. It's pretty funny. They're both up there in the, you know, late 30s, but basically, you know, just a couple guys that have had a lot of fights. I mean, Curtis is 32-12 overall. Max Griffin 20-12. So these guys have had a lot of damn fights, but they're both coming off of losses, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Chris Curtis was on a 2-fight losing streak, and Max Griffin was on a coming off a loss as well. This makes 2 for him. So he loses the split decision fight. It was a hard fought. It was a hard fight for both these guys. I mean, they both put it all out there, and They both took some big shots. You know, Chris Curtis seems to always take damage. Not maybe not a lot, but he always gets hit, and that's part of his problem, because sometimes he just finds the guys that can, you know, really just kind of put the work in on him and touch him up, really. So when it comes down to it, he can't seem to put together a lot of wins in a row, but unfortunately, fortunately for him on this one, he was able to get the win. So he goes back into not losing more than 2 in a row, which is good for him considering what happens in the UFC. He almost always gets a lot of performance of the night bonuses, but because of the rest of the card and how it went down with all the rest of the fights, he did not get any bonuses this time. It was a split decision win, but he still got the win against Max Griffin. His last fight, he got a fight of the night bonus against Roman Kopylov. And you know, when you see fight of the night bonuses a lot, he's got 2 out of his last 3 bonuses were fight of the night. So that's because it's always a hard fight, and you know, they're going at it. Chris doesn't back down. He pushes forward, and whether he's getting hit or not, he's putting in the work, and it's, you know, it's usually a pretty good fight. So Max Griffin did what he could here, but he came up short and gets the loss. So split decision loss for Max Griffin. Chris Curtis with the win. And that brings us to the main card. So in the prelims, we had 2 decisions and 4 finishes. 2 of those being by submission, two of them being by KO TKO. So that's a hell of a prelim card. Moving into the main card, where we get a finish right away. So no decisions, no back-to-back decisions in the prelims, and up until now, we get the submission by arm triangle choke with Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tucos. And man, Tafa was... Here's what sucks, man. Tafa was actually doing pretty good. He moved down to 205. He seemed like he was happy about it and doing well with the, you know, dropping down in weight, and he looked pretty good coming into the fight. And he looked good in the fight. That's the thing. He was doing pretty well in the beginning. This went to the 4 minutes and 52 seconds of the second round, but somewhere near the middle of that second round is when things kind of turned around for him. And Tuco's just started putting in work and getting the upper hand. And when things went to the ground, Tafa just fell apart. He just stopped. It's not that he didn't look like he knew what to do. He just didn't look like he didn't seem to have the motivation to do anything about any of the positions he was stuck in. So, I mean, definitely he's the best on the feet for sure. We've seen that. We kind of know that. He's got 2 losses by submission and no wins there. He's got no wins by decision and 1 loss there, and then he's 6-1 by KO TKO. So we obviously know he likes to stand. His last fight was a second round finish over Sean Sharif. But I mean, he got heel hooked by Walter Walker as well. And yeah, it's just one of those things. If he's not on the feet, it's trouble for him, and that sucks. Because I like the Tafa brothers, but they're both kind of the same. They both like to, you know, fight on the feet, and if it doesn't stay on the feet, then once it gets to the ground, it gets rough. And they both get hit too, so it's just, oh man. I was just surprised because he was doing so well in the beginning, but Tacos, however you want to say his last name, I've heard it every single goddamn way, and I still don't know for sure how to say it. But yeah, he's got the submission wins for sure, so that's what made this fight dangerous for Tafa. He's 1-2 in the UFC now. He had 2 losses coming into this, but before that, this makes his 3rd submission win. He's kind of got a mix of everything there, so he's kind of an all-around guy. But pretty impressive win here, getting that arm triangle choke over Justin Tafa. And that's our first fight in the main card with a finish. And we move into a second finish of the night for the main card. And that just makes me laugh because exactly what I was talking about. Austin Lane, I do not understand how he's still in the UFC, and if he stays in the UFC after this, I do not know why. It doesn't make any sense, and I hate downing on the guy like that, but just watch, purely judging on his skills, it's quite obvious he's not at the level of a UFC fighter. Yes, he beat Robelas to Spain, but Despain just, he was out of his element in the UFC. He wasn't ready for it or something. I don't even know what it is, because he's wrecking shit in karate combat and outside of the UFC. And before he came into the UFC, he was just doing big things. Comes in the UFC and it's just not for him. So Austin Lane beat him in the UFC, yes, but that's like his one and only win. And yeah, that's a pretty good win when you think of the opponent, but if you think of the opponent only in the UFC, it's really nothing, because Despain did nothing in the UFC really. Yeah, his first fight was impressive, but that was about it. So outside of the UFC, yeah, it's great. Maybe Austin Lane needs to go to karate combat. That might be better for him. But I don't know, because I don't even think he has the greatest skill standing up either. And again, I hate to be a hater and I hate to talk negatively, but it's just what I've seen out of Austin Lane completely overall. He's just not the caliber of fighter that's gonna last long in the UFC. And I can't believe he's lasted this long considering his record in the UFC. So now he's 1-4. The only win is against Despain, and that was a unanimous decision. So he's been finished every time he's lost. His 4 losses in UFC are all TKOs, except for this one was the submission. So again, even on his feet, he's getting finished. So I just don't know that this is for him. And I hate saying it again. I'll say that over and over again because I just don't like being negative like that. But it sucks that that's the way it went down, and that he continues to lose and is still around in the UFC. It's just like an easy win for most guys in the UFC, and that's sad to say. But Petrino looked like a beast. He was ripped. He was huge. I think was he coming up in weight, or maybe so. No, he wasn't coming up in weight. What was he doing before this? I don't know. Maybe not. I guess I was just I must just be thinking of something else. He just looked huge. Like, I don't remember him looking that big before. So getting the win by submission in an impressive way. Yeah, that's all I can say about that one. But, you know, again, it's Austin Lane, and I would hope that he would be able to beat him this way, or even worse. And he put in work. First round finish, 4 minutes and 16 seconds in. Submission by rear naked choke. And yeah, he makes easy work of Austin Lane. And that brings us over to, man, Nate the Train. Nate the Train versus Morgan Charrier. They wind up getting fight of the night for this, which isn't surprising considering Nate the Train. His fights are always exciting, and when it comes down to it, he's that guy too. There's a lot of those guys on this card that just get hit. Makes for an entertaining fight, but it never works out well for them. But when they win in big ways because they put everything out there on the line, and that's the kind of guy Nate Landwehr is. He's got that face with a lot of scar tissue. Gets opened up quickly, shows the damage, you know, worse than it probably was even, and he gets opened up quickly too, because he's always getting hit. So that's really all I can say. But he's a fun guy to watch, and he's a great fighter for the most part, other than just the fact that his defense is just not there. He's 5-5 overall in the UFC. I mean, 5-5 in the UFC. He's now on a 2-fight losing streak, but he gets bonuses, win or lose. So that's what makes him exciting. He lost by TKO to Doo Ho Choi in his last fight before this one, and now Morgan Charrier, which I was saying, he's got those 12, now 13 wins by KO TKO. He's not been stopped on the feet. He only has one loss by submission, and all of his losses have come by decision, really, except for the one loss by submission. So Bacon Bits, this was a great fight. Oh, it definitely was, man. That's why they got fight of the night. And that's what I was saying. Like Nate the Train. Oh man, it's just, if he could just freaking get some defense, man. Just put your hands up or something. I don't know what it is, but he gets hit so much. He needs to move his head a little more, some better footwork. I don't know, but when he wins great. It's just he was a punching bag for Charrier. Nate in his home state too, definitely want. Yeah, that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse. I definitely wanted to see him get a big win against Charrier too, to like give him his first loss in the give him his first loss on the feet. That would have been amazing, especially in his home state, and being able to pick up a win like that would have been great. But he put on a great fight. That's why they got fight of the night. So that's really all you can say about it. Thank you, Bacon Bits, for jumping in and interacting. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I like watching Nate the Train fight. I don't know why. I like these guys that just don't win all the time. That's just, maybe I just don't like to jump on the hype train of everything else when someone's like undefeated and shit. I mean, the last guy I was really like that about was Khabib. Always been one of my favorite fighters. You know, I was never really big on the Conor train. I respect everything he's done for the sport and his talent. But there's just, they're never my favorite fighters. It's always the guys like Nate the Train, the Diaz bros. Like, I like guys like that who, you know, they're gritty, they're grimy, they get down to it, and they're fun to watch fight regardless of whether they're winning or losing. So unfortunate for Nate the Train, but Morgan Charrier adds to his KO TKO numbers and continues to be undefeated on the feet. So if somebody can go the distance with him, they definitely have a great chance of winning because he has 10 losses there by decision. But Charrier winds up getting the win, and that makes oh no, that's just one win for him because he was coming off a loss. But he's got a lot of performance of the night and fight of the night bonuses over the past few years. This makes what, 4 for him since 2023, so that's pretty damn good. So you're always gonna get some action from Charrier, so good for him. Nate wasn't doing that bad, then Morgan just unleashed hell upon him. Yeah, and that's the thing, because Nate, as soon as Nate starts getting doubled up and tripled up on getting hit without any big counters, it just starts to crumble, and that's unfortunate because I just like to watch him fight, but it's frustrating at the same time because that's what happens. Next thing you know, he's going from having a great fight, looking damn good, he's hyping up the crowd. You know, it's like he did the whole Poetan thing where he got a low blow. The ref tried to, you know, intervene and call it like, hey, timeout, and he's like, no, fuck that, let's go. And he's trying to hype up the crowd. The ref's over there trying to pull him in and being like, hey, you wanted to go, let's go. And he's still over there like hyping up the crowd. So that's the kind of guy he is. But it just sucks that he just, somebody always finds a way in on him, and it's over. So, but great fight though regardless. And that brings us to the next fight, Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Also another fight that was pretty good. I mean, Calvin Kattar is now, I believe, lost 5 in a row. And yes, that is true, 5 in a fucking row, because Steve Garcia did everything. He did everything. Steve Garcia is one of those guys that's kind of quiet, unassuming. He doesn't look like a crazy fighter. Definitely a dog. That's what Bacon Bits just said, and that's 100% true. And fucking he just bites down on that mouthpiece and goes at it. And he showed that here against Calvin Kattar, who, you know, he's fought a lot of the big names, and I'll give him that. He has a lot of bonuses as well. All the way back to 2018 against Shane Burgos, fight of the night against Zabit Magomedsharipov. This is what you look at though. Fight of the night. A lot of guys don't want to get fight of the night bonuses because they know that means they went to war and it was crazy. It's a good thing for a lot of guys like Max Holloway, who he also got a fight of the night bonus with. But fight of the night against Giga Chikadze, fight of the night against Josh Emmett. All of his bonuses are fight of the night because he's another guy. Like I said, all these fucking guys on this card that just get hit all the time. But it makes for great fights, and that's why this was a great fight card. All the way throughout the night, we had great fights, and that's because you got guys like this who put it all on the line. Don't care if they're getting hit. Don't care if they get finished. I mean, I'm sure they care, but you know what I mean. In the moment, they're like, it is what it is. That's what happens. But they put it all out there. They're not trying to fight safe. They're just hungry for a win and pressing forward, and that's what makes for great fights. But unfortunately for Kattar, that makes 5 in a row for him. Only 3 of those, the last 3 have been by unanimous decision. Arnold Allen was a knee injury, so that's a TKO technically, and then another decision to Josh Emmett, which was the fight of the night. So I don't know if they're going to be able to keep Kattar around. I don't think Kattar didn't really find his rhythm until the end of the fight. That's when he started to do a little better. Yeah, a little too late, right? I feel like he had a quick, I'm trying to remember what round. There was one round in there, I just don't remember. There's so much happening during this night. There was one round in there where I saw something change in him, and I was like, ooh, this might be where he picks it up. And it was quickly just gone. It was so gone so quick, and I'm like, fuck. And I just wanted to see him do better than he was doing, taking the damage and just getting hit consistently. But he's tough, man. He's a dog as well. He just doesn't get finished that way. I mean, as you can see, all the decisions like I just listed off, he hangs in there and he stays on his feet. But he loses, and he just continues to lose. I don't know if the UFC is going to keep him around. I mean, he was only a slight underdog in this fight, being that Steve Garcia's looked so good recently. I'm surprised by that, but it's just because you don't know what you're going to get from Kattar because of the way that he fights. This makes for 6 fight win streak for Garcia, which is damn impressive. He's got a couple bonuses in there. Performance of the night against Kyle Nelson and Sung Woo Choi. Wins against Melquizel Costa, Shailin Nurimbeki, and Chase Hooper. That was another performance of the night bonus against Hooper as well. He hasn't lost since 2022. That makes 6 in a row for him. So we're going to see big things coming for Steve Garcia here in the near future, I think, with this big win streak. And now he's starting to, beat the guys with a little more of a name. So we'll see who they give him next. And I'm interested to see if they keep Calvin Kattar around. If they cut Calvin Kattar and not Austin Lane, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Austin, out of anybody on this goddamn card, even above Lauren Murphy, who retired, I think Austin Lane needs to be cut. I hate it. I hate to say it, but that's how I feel. So let's move on to our co-main event with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. Man, I don't know what to say about this one. Like, Wonderboy looked better than I thought he was going to against Bonfim because of the age difference. Bonfim is 27, and I believe Wonderboy is 41 or 42. 42. 27 versus 42. But that's what I talked about in the last show. Wonderboy still has the speed. He's still there. He doesn't look like he's slowing down in the manner of speed, but he is not as elusive as he used to be. Especially with the way Joaquin Buckley caught him. He just doesn't seem to be as elusive as he used to be, and that sucks. He's got 3 losses in a row because he did lose to Bonfim. But a lot of people thought that Wonderboy won. I wouldn't say Wonderboy got robbed necessarily, but it was definitely a close split decision. Wonderboy looked great. There we go. Right on track, man, because I was just about saying that right now. A lot of people thought Wonderboy won the fight, and I saw a lot of the robbery talk. I think Bacon Bits is right when it comes down to maybe it wasn't a robbery, it was just a very close fight. I understand where people are coming from talking about, I believe everyone was talking about the second round for some reason. I'm trying to remember what I saw so much of, but most of what everybody was saying was robbery. I was kind of in and out on this fight, and I don't even think I went back and watched all of it. But I did. No, I watched this fight. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah, because this was the co-main. Because he got that nasty gash on his shin, where Bonfim checked the kick. So he kicked that bottom of his knee and opened up that nasty gash. Gabriel had a little more control time. I think that's what got him the win. Yeah, and that's the thing with, it's weird because Wonder Boy is so long and lanky, and like he doesn't use his limbs to his advantage. I don't feel like, because people can wrap him up, and maybe it's his disadvantage that he's so long that people can just wrap him up. He's so damn like skinny. Well, not as skinny anymore. Like he used to look very skinny. Now he's just kind of got a little more of that old guy body. But yeah, Bonfim definitely controlled him a little more, and that is probably what got him that win. Besides just, I think the gash did a lot too, but Wonder Boy was in the fight the whole time. There was never really a runaway moment. That's why, again, like Bacon Bit said, it was, split decision, that's why it's close. And Gabriel also kicked the cut after it happened. Thought that was kind of messed up. Seemed like it was on purpose. Yeah, I mean, people will go for the obvious, Speaking of the cut, I actually have that right here. And that's what I was about to talk about too, was the fact that Wonder Boy also kicked him in the head while that cut was gushing blood, which was disgusting, because you just saw a big old fucking like print on the side of Bonfim's head, and as you can see in this picture, Wonder Boy caught him flush, so didn't really stumble Bonfim, but it got him good. You could tell it affected him for a second, with that big nasty splat of blood on the side of his head too. But that's a nasty gash if you're squeamish. I'm sorry that you're having to see that right now. But as you can see, Wonder Boy said after the fact that it was split all the way down to the bone. So yeah, for sure a bad cut. We know that just by how much it was bleeding. I'm glad that they didn't try to stop the fight or anything. It was on a spot where it's not affecting anybody's vision. But it gets a little gross in there when something's bleeding that bad, and then you get things like the head kick here to the left on that left picture that you're seeing, where he kicks with that leg and blood gets everywhere. But it wasn't in the eyes or nothing, so it didn't really matter. But it was definitely crazy to watch that. Yeah. Bacon Bits is asking if the cut was from a check. Yeah, so Bonfim checked the kick. So like right at the top of the shin / bottom of the knee is where what caught the shin of Wonder Boy and opened up that gash. Pretty nasty stuff, man. Especially from just basically, slamming that shin into something like a check. But I mean, if you think about the front of your knee a little bit, most people's kind of protrudes a little bit right there. So I guess I could see how it gets split open like that. Pretty nasty stuff, especially after he kicked him in the head. But that's how much in it Wonder Boy was. He got this head kick and it did a little damage, but not enough to get him the win. So as much as everybody wants to call robbery, I think it just shows and proves that Wonder Boy's still here to fight, still here to stay in the fight and have potential of winning, even though he's now on a 3-fight losing streak. But these are some good name opponents. He's not dropped down to the lower levels yet, so we'll see what kind of a matchup he gets next and how much more of Wonder Boy we get, because there has been a little bit of talk of retirement here and there. People asking him over and over, probably because of his age and his record as of late. But for now, he continues on, and he said it's just time for some healing after that nasty gash. So I'm sure we'll see him come up here in the near future after that's healed up. I would love to see Wonder Boy get a win sometime soon. One of my favorites stylistically. Yeah, Wonder Boy's one of those guys that I think him and MVP would be a great fight. Are they even in the same division? They're so close that it's one of those things. But if you think about the styles, that would be a great fight, regardless of a weight class. I can't remember what weight class MVP is in. off the top of my head. But he might be middleweight. Anyway, who cares? That would be a cool fight to see, regardless. Just because MVP's still on the hunt and still hungry, looking for moving up the chain and trying to get a title shot. Yeah, middleweight. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But you know, imagine if they were in the same weight class. If MVP wouldn't move down, but imagine if Wonder Boy moved up. I mean, that's a possibility. That would be an interesting fight, just because they kind of have the same style, and they're kind of built the same. I think MVP maybe has a little more explosiveness to him, but I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if it ever happened. So let's move into this main event. Derrick Lewis versus Telson Teixeira. I talked a little bit about it in the beginning. Derrick Lewis, man, the Black Beast. Speaking of older guys, he's fucking 40 years old, fighting a 25-year-old, and holy shit, did he look good. And that's what happens when he has a good fight camp, has a good weight cut. Everything's going well for him. He walks in there feeling good, and then he does good things. But there's too many times, and he's too inconsistent with that shit, because he's come in not looking great physically. He said he had a bad weight cut. His training camp was horrible, and that happens too often for him, and that's why he can't seem to put together enough wins to get himself up there in the ranks. And you know, but it's not too difficult considering the state of the heavyweight division these days. I thought Lewis being that much of an underdog was crazy. Yeah, man, that's recency bias. We saw what Telson Teixeira did in his last fight. We see that he's 8-0, undefeated coming in. We see that he's younger. I say we as in the collective. Obviously, people just see all that and think, oh, there's no way that the 40-year-old Derrick Lewis, who is completely inconsistent with how well he does in fights, is going to come in here and be able to, you know, do what he did to Teixeira. And if you look at the strength of schedules, if you compare those two, it's quite obvious that Teixeira does not have that kind of experience at his age. He only has one fucking fight in the UFC. But this speaks to the bullshit of the heavyweight division right now in the UFC. The fucking state of the UFC right now in the heavyweight division is absolute bullshit. That's really all I can say. And it just has to do with, I don't know what it has to do with really, because out of nowhere, we've lost everybody in the heavyweight division. I mean, Francis Ngannou, I think, like, yeah, of course, there's some new life built in with John Jones, but then you see what he did with it. He's squandered it all away, fucking being stupid and not wanting to fight, and getting into legal troubles again, retiring and unretiring. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? And this is the bullshit that kills everything all the time. So him coming up to the heavyweight division was fantastic, you know. Breathe life into the heavyweight division. And no, it didn't, because I thought Holland would fight on this card also. I think he's fighting on the next card, actually, if I remember correctly. I think he's on 318. I'm gonna check that real fast just because I'm curious. Kevin Holland, yeah, he's fighting D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, on the main card of 318. So you'll see Holland next week. But yeah, so yeah, this bullshit in the heavyweight division. Thanks, by the way, Zark, welcome back. Appreciate you for coming back always and supporting and interacting. But yeah, the heavyweights just suck right now. It sucks to see that, you know, the division has gone to where it is now. Derrick Lewis might have a quick and fast way to get to the title shot. He's already talking about the fact, oh, I've never fought Tom Aspinall, so that would be a good fight. And that's good for him. Take advantage, because right now there's really not a lot going on in that division. Cyril Gane versus Houston crowd better than Nashville. I don't know, man. Nashville was pretty hyped, especially with that finish at the end. That shit look crazy. It's hard to tell always, you know what I mean? A lot of it depends on if you see videos on TikTok or anywhere else, Instagram or something, to really know what's happening out there, or how big the crowd is, or how interactive the crowd is, I guess, or responsive it is. But a lot of it depends on the commentators. You know, if they're talking about how loud it is, hard to hear, and how hyped the whole crowd is, then, you know, a lot of people might think that certain areas are better than others. But I don't know. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it, really. It did seem like there was a lot of buzz in that crowd in Nashville. So I think it was a good one regardless. Probably in comparison to Houston, right up there, I think. Chandler should have his retirement fight here as a fight night. What do you mean here? As in Nashville, or? Bacon Bit says, I think we accepted Waldo's call out interview after oh no. Abu Dhabi, as always, would make the best fight night card of the year. Okay. Bacon Bits, are you talking about Derrick Lewis accepting Waldo Cortez Acosta? That's not a good fight for him. I hate to say it, but it is not a good fight for him. I don't like that fight for him. I don't like that fight for him. I don't think that would be a great fight for us to have to watch either. So yeah, maybe if he's feeling himself right now, that's why he said yes to that. But I don't think that's a good fight for him. But can Almeida give a tough fight for Lewis? Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. If you're looking at matchups, Waldo Cortez Acosta and Jailton Almeida are not good fights for Lewis. But I only say that because of their talent on the ground. But if Lewis can catch him, because I know Acosta, I think might give him more on the feet than Almeida would. But I don't know, they're heavyweights, you know. The fights all start on the feet. So Derrick Lewis always has that chance if he comes out like he did here. But here's the thing, and then we got to talk about the eye thing. That, hey, right, Lewis doesn't have a ground game. No, and we see what happens when he gets taken to the ground. He kind of gives up. It's like you see all the wind leave his sails. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so corny, but that's just an easy way to say it. Just everything, the life gets taken out of him when he gets taken down and held down for just a second. Rosenstruck making more outside of the UFC. Oh yeah. Yeah, because Rosenstruck, he's one of those guys. He wasn't loud enough, I would say, in the UFC. Perfect. So yeah, he was getting up there, but and then, you know, he was wishy-washy at the end. And yeah, he's doing big things already in DBX, though, Dirty Boxing. I'm hyped for that. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that Rob Perez fight. I think Rosenstruck is fucking gigantic, but Perez is one of those guys. He's a fucking dog for sure. And obviously, I've interviewed him before. So if you haven't seen that, go back in my channel. You can check it out. Not even like a month ago, maybe. The week of the fight, I released the interview here, but it's also on Combat Sports Today. They're the ones that hooked up that interview for me, so I appreciate them always. Go check out their channel as well. But yeah, that fight between Rosenstruck and Rob Perez is going to be insane. I can't wait for that one, and maybe I can get another interview out of that too. That'd be dope. But Bacon Bits asked, what do you think of the stoppage for this fight? So yeah, that's where I was getting to with this too. You know, it was 35 seconds, and you know, Tellison landed that punch on Derrick Lewis. Lewis grabs his eye and acts like it's kind of an eye poke, but it was probably just a knuckle in the eye. He says he was acting. I kind of feel like it was just a reaction from the punch. But no matter what, he came in, and that's where he kind of played rope-a-dope and caught Teixeira, knocks him down, jumps on him, and is ground and pounding him out. And then you see Teixeira grab the fence with both hands and pull himself up. So Bacon Bits, he's asking, what do I think of the stoppage for this fight? I think it was legit. And the only reason why I say that, because at first sight you think, oh shit, that was kind of quick. Like, Teixeira got up, he looked like he was into it and was okay, but he got rocked, he got knocked down, he got a bunch of punches landed on him, and he used the cage to get up. So in the middle of a finish, do you want to stop the fight and be like, take a point from him because he did an illegal move? I don't know. I don't know that that's the right thing to do. And I just think that that was probably the ref's thought process in this is like, okay, I could stop this and take a point because he's using the cage. Obviously, he could slap his hands away, but what's that really going to do? It's in the middle of what's looking like a finish, and it was. So I think for sure that was just a weird coincidence of things that happened. I think Lewis's finish is legit, and I don't know. I don't really think that it was a bad stoppage. Vacabit says, I do too. If he didn't grab the fence, I don't think he would have been able to get up as easily. Definitely not. Zark said Anthony Pettis made his own fighting company recently. Oh, yeah. I've heard some good stuff about that. And actually, one of the guys on Combat Sports Today interviews a lot of the guys from that organization, and he follows it. And yeah, he does a lot with that organization too. So I've heard good things coming out of there. Aiden Ross pays more compared to BKFC and Dirty Boxing. Well, yeah, but like, what kind of competition are we getting in that Aiden Ross shit, right? You know, they're fighting for show. And while I agree that it should, like, the UFC should be paying more than things like that, like circus shows and shit like that, but they don't put on as many as events. They don't have the kind of rosters that these bigger organizations do. But don't get me wrong, I 100% agree and think that the guys that are fighting professionally in legit organizations like this should definitely be getting way more money and shouldn't even have to worry about what other people are making outside of this organization. So taking the point would have also given Teixeira time to recover. So if that happened, there would be controversy over that too. Oh yeah, no, I mean, you read my mind. I didn't even get to that point, and that's exactly what I was thinking was, yeah, you stop it, and then you have to, you know, take the point, or you stop it to tell him to stop grabbing the cage, and that's just, no matter what, that's recovery time, even if it's just a few seconds or a minute, whatever, recovery time. And then so what happens if he turns around? It's controversial regardless. It's a consequence of the circumstance, right? Because of the fact that he grabbed the cage. That's all there is to it. He grabbed the cage, but he was in the middle of being finished. If that cage wasn't there, if they were in the middle of the octagon, he would have gotten finished regardless. So that's why I don't take this as a bad stoppage. I take it as a situational circumstance that nobody can really change at this point, and you can't help what happened. It is what it is. And really, if you look at it, Teixeira's kind of cheating, if you look at it that way. So and only because you're not supposed to grab the cage, especially with both hands. Like, holy shit. I mean, you want to talk about full-on illegal, you cannot do that. You can't grab the cage with both hands and work your way back up to standing. Now, I wish Lewis would have just caught him with another punch or two on the chin and really put him out, and there would have been no question. And also to, you know, kind of reprimand him for trying to cheat. But anyway, in the end, Derrick Lewis gets the win. We get the, you know, official celebration that we're used to from Derrick, as well as the extra shit where he's pulling his shorts off, which we remember, my balls was hot. And also, you know, he throws the shorts in the crowd. He goes over, and speaking of Rob Perez and the Dirty Boxing, Rob Perez is part of his celebration when he wins is because he's the wolf. He always runs around in circles and then gets on all fours, lifts a leg up, and acts like he's pissing on his opponents. Well, Derrick Lewis did that. And he did that to Tellison Teixeira's corner because apparently he says that he doesn't speak Portuguese, but he knows that they were talking mad shit. So he kind of sought him out, pointed at him, looked at him, and pissed on him, which was hilarious. And then he proceeded to, you know, full on moon everybody and everything like that. So probably the most controversial stoppage I've seen as of recently was Imavov versus Cannonier. That was a horrible stoppage. Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in that one. I watched too many fucking fights. I don't fully remember what happened in that one. Was that... I'm not going to pretend like I know. I don't remember what happened in that one. I might have to refresh my memory on that. But yeah, so Derrick Lewis. And then on top of all that, he's on the phone as he's getting announced as the official winner of the fight. needless to say, he's not just on the phone talking to a baby mama or something because he had his wife next to him, but he's on the phone talking to Donald Trump. And he says he's been trying to get a hold of him and talk to him, but he wouldn't say why. Now, we all know that there's real talks about this White House event going on next year during the 4th of July. Dana White's talking in a way that it sounds pretty legit. So if that's the case, Derrick Lewis is a big Trump supporter. He talks about it a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him on that card, especially because it seems like Trump likes him as well. So maybe that's why Trump called him and was like, hey, you know, keep your schedule open because we want you here, which would be crazy, especially with his types of celebrations. But overall, just the White House card happening, that'd be nuts. But anyway, that about does it for UFC Nashville. It was a fun card. I had a good time watching it. It was fucking amazing to see that many finishes, and you know, just to have a great card. And I hope that doesn't mean that UFC 318 is gonna suck, because you know how it goes sometimes. We don't get a lot of back-to-back really good cards. So I'm hoping that this is just gonna lead us into as good, if not even better, night of fights for UFC 318 coming up next week. And that's it for UFC Nashville. I wanted to just touch on real quick because it was a bit historic as far as the amount of title fights that were on this card. I did want to talk about the Taylor versus Serrano part 3, the trilogy. Katie Taylor has beat Amanda Serrano twice, but a bit controversial in those decisions because of the, you know, the allegations of the headbutts, saying that she leads with her head. We saw Serrano get that big nasty gash above her eye in the last fight. Serrano believes 100% that she won at least one out of those 2 fights, and so does her team. And you know, of course, they cried foul big time over the clash of heads. But you know, you got a southpaw versus orthodox. That kind of shit happens. But we just had a lot of the same go on in this fight. This one was not as exciting. It wasn't such a war like the other 2 fights were. But you know, Taylor was just kind of strategic and tactical, and Serrano just didn't seem to pull the trigger the way that she did in the other fights. And I don't know if because she thought maybe that was going to be the way for her to get a win, or what, but she just seemed a bit hesitant here and there. But I mean, overall, if I felt like she fought a pretty good fight, she just didn't do enough to beat Katie Taylor, and that's kind of all there is to it. It just wasn't as action-packed of a fight as the first 2, and we just kind of saw Katie Taylor just take it to the end and get the win. I heard a lot of people talking about it being could have possibly been a draw, if anything. But how many times do we have to watch this, right? We already saw Serrano lose twice, and then we see her not win, 100% not win on this fight, whether it was a draw or it was barely losing. Not enough punches for the judges. It seemed like Serrano had more punches, but I mean, at the same time, it seemed like in the end it was pretty even. So I would say, just out of pure like who she is, Taylor edged that out. But also maybe, I don't know, maybe the strategy helped her and got her the win. I don't know really what they're looking at. I don't know boxing as well as I do MMA, so it's a little tough for me to say. But it did seem like a hell of a lot closer fight this time, and it just didn't seem like there was as much urgency in this fight the way there was in the other 2, or you know, and just Serrano was crushed when she lost, and I understand that. You know, you've had 3 fights with one of the greatest women's boxers ever, and she just can't seem to get the win. It's got to be frustrating. But you know what? They've done a lot for women's boxing. These 3 fights 100% have done a lot for women's boxing. The punch stats for both were pretty low. Both changed strategies and seemed timid. Yeah, and that's kind of, I agree 100%. That's kind of the way I saw it as well. It just didn't seem like they were in there to have the war that they had the previous 2 fights. and that's what sucks, because usually the third one is even more. Bacon Bit says lots of bangers on 318. Really looking forward to Johnson versus Huber. Oh yeah, Dan Ige versus Pitbull will be interesting as well, for sure. Those are going to be absolutely slugfest. Yeah, I hope so. The one that gives me pause is Ige versus Pitbull, because Pitbull just did not look like Pitbull in that fight, in his first fight in UFC. That one kind of worries me a little bit. But I think Johnson versus Huber, that's definitely a fight that's going to be a banger. Paulo Costa versus Kopylov has potential. Holland versus Rodriguez, maybe. It depends on which Kevin Holland shows up. D-Rod, I feel like Holland's got the upper hand on that one. So that's not a bad main card, though. And then Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier for the BMF title. 100% excited for that one. Man, I'm not going for anybody. I'm just there to watch because I like both those guys. In the prelims, who else we got? Brandon Allen versus Marvin Vettori. That should be a good one. Francisco Prado versus Nikolai Veretennikov. Tyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Ateba Gautier versus Robert Valentine. Okay. Early prelims. Who else? Adam Fugit. Jimmy Crute, Marcin Prachnio, that should be a good one. Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. Bruno Fajeda versus Jackson McVeigh. Okay. Phillips versus Oliveira looks like it could be good too. Yeah, some good fights on this card. Yeah, Phillips versus Oliveira for sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for that one, man. Watch party. I'm going to have a watch party for that one. So come back on Thursday. I'm going to preview this card. And also I'll talk about the watch party. So Thursday night, if Bacon Bits, if you're not subscribed, please do. I usually go live Sundays and Thursdays, and then I'll be live Saturday for the watch party. So, but back to this Taylor Serrano fight. Yeah. I think, Infinity broke it down pretty good there. Punch stats were low. Both of them seemed to change their strategy and seemed a little timid. So that kind of sums it up, to be honest. But the other fights on the card were great. That Alicia Baumgartner fight was good. I watched that one. That was a damn good fight. Let me see. Chantel Cameron, I believe. Yeah, Chantel Cameron won. Oh shit. The Sugar Neeks fight, Shanika Johnson versus Sharetta Metcalf, that was a damn good fight. Shanika Johnson was, yeah, she did damn good. My future ex-girlfriend, Alicia. I know you're a fan, that's for damn sure. But yeah, Shanika Johnson, man, she did well. The ref said the ref and the doctor seemed like they didn't like the way that Metcalf was, reacting to the punches, is what I heard. So that was kind of a weird one, but Shanika is a badass. Sugar Neeks, man, go check out her Instagram. I promise you it's worth it. But the point deduction, see, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, so I didn't see who got deducted. Was that from Metcalf, or I didn't get to watch the whole fight, so I'm not up on all of these fights. But I did see that Ariel Helwani said that Ramla Ali versus Leila Furtado, it seemed like he said that Ali didn't think Ali won that fight. So that was kind of crazy, because he said that in the in-ring, post-fight interview. She looked like she was a little bit annoyed by that, for good reason, but good for him for speaking his mind. And a lot of people just say it behind their back. He said it to her, not maliciously. He just said, being fair, he didn't think that she won that fight from holding in the second round. But who got the point taken? That's what I was asking. I didn't really see what happened there with that. So let's see who else. Chantel Cameron gets the win over Jessica Kamara. I did watch that first fight, Tamura Thibault versus Mary Casamassa. That was one of the only finishes, and that was a fun one to watch, with the crazy punch combination she put in at the end. Oh, green. Oh, you're talking about a whole different fight. Yeah, Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall. But man, watching Shadeja Green get that win, holy shit, I was like, she was so emotional, but it was so cool to watch. And it was and it seemed like a really good fight. It was a split decision win for Shadeja Green getting that fight, or getting that win, and she also got the $250,000 bonus. $250K. Goddamn. That's a hell of a bonus right there. 20 years in the making. Yeah, watching her and her family, it was fucking crazy, man. I was getting emotional. I'm like, holy shit, this was nuts. But it was a good card, and yeah, watching that was fun. Alicia Baumgartner getting the win, and then the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight. So yeah, that was a good card. All women fight. They broke a record for the amount of titles on the line, the amount of championships that were on the line, and it was yeah, it was a pretty good card overall. I wish the Taylor Serrano fight would have been a little better, but in the end, we just see how dominant and how good Katie Taylor is. And I hear that Chantel Cameron has a rematch with Chantel Cameron that should happen at some point. Other than that, Miranda was jacked in that fight. Oh yeah, that was interesting watching those two. Oh, wow, yeah, that was crazy. That's all I can really say. Shoulders bigger than mine. Yeah, and Baumgartner did her thing, and it was cool to watch her win too. So it was a good night of fights for the women. We had another boxing event as well that happened, and that was let me get rid of all of these damn that was the Ring 3 card, which was Edgar Berlanga versus William Zepeda, and then versus Hamza Shiraz, and then Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Stevenson came out with the win. Big win for him. I did watch an interview with him after the fact, and he had his daughter in his arms, and she kept like kind of interjecting in the interview, and he was saying something about how, oh yeah, it got tough there for a minute, but you know, I did my thing and blah blah blah. And she's like, he almost knocked you out. And she's like a little girl, and it was funny because he did get rocked. I don't know exactly what round it was or whatever, but I watched the highlights and stuff, and I was surprised when I saw that one. He got rocked a little bit, and he's like, I didn't almost get knocked out. He's like, clapping back at her. It's funny. It was a funny little thing, but yeah, he came out the winner there. Edgar Berlanga got knocked the fuck out, that's for sure. Drunks and kids will tell on everyone. Yeah, no shit. But yeah, Berlanga got knocked the fuck out after all that shit talk, man. He was talking a big game, and Shiraz came out and got a big win over him. Alberto Puello lost to Subriel Matias, and then I think David Morrell got the win over Imam Katiev. Let me see. I wanted to bring it up real quick just to double check. Work with me here. There we go. I don't know why everything's giving me problems today with this with these pages. Oh shit. And of course it didn't even bring up the right one. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So Shiraz gets the KO in the 5th round, and then Stevenson gets a unanimous decision win over Zepeda. Subriel Matias gets the majority decision win over Puello. Stream has still been smooth though. I saw the beginning. Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah, no, I wasn't having trouble with the stream. It was just these fucking web pages that I'm trying to get reference from were just acting up. David Morrell gets the win there. And then there was only two finishes on this card, which was the Shiraz over Berlanga, which was the main event. So that was a good way to end that off. And then the first fight of the night, Raito Sutsami versus Michael Rees. That was a finish in the 2nd round for Sutsami. But yeah, so that was the Ring 3 card. Couple big boxing matches this weekend. Everyone was talking about boxing winning the weekend ahead of the fights going into the weekend, but I think the UFC did a damn good job at entertainment and great fights. So regardless of any of it, it was a good time overall, and I was happy about the night of fights for the UFC. So that about does it for me. And yeah, I appreciate everybody in the chat as usual. Infinity always coming through. Appreciate that and all the support. Bacon Bits coming in. And there was something for everyone this weekend. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. That's what made it a good weekend. Bacon Bits coming in with the good back and forth interaction and information. Zark81 jumping in again as well. Thank you. My wife as always. And Patrick's coming in studio for the Watch Party podcast happening next weekend for UFC 318. So come back Thursday. I will be previewing UFC 318 as well as talking about any other combat sports news that might be coming up throughout the week. That's it for me now. Have a good week. Come back Thursday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share with somebody, tell a friend. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.